Armor, but I guess we're not at that level yet. Alright. Party camp first. Let's talk with everyone.
Something on your mind? Of course.
Why have you remained a Templar if you hate the Chantry?
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
I thought Templars wore heavy plate, mostly.
That's just in public. In private, we have these yellow and purple tunics, right? Much more comfortable, and you don't break the beds when you jump on them during a pillow fight.
Do all Templars make these jokes, or just you?
Oh, you know, between all the guilt and the hours spent in solemn prayer, any good Templar or priest is just bursting to tell a few good jokes when the opportunity arises. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring.
I do really want to know, yes.
Poke, poke, poke. Tell me everything about your life, Alistair. All right, if you insist. It's not like we have anything better to do, right? The truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Al Eamon had cast me off, unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it.
What did you enjoy about the training?
The education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we have. It was difficult, but rewarding. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
Anywhere my clan goes is my
You
home.
must miss them a great deal. Duncan and the Grey Wardens are the closest I ever got to that kind of family. We won't always be traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the Blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Though that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good. Either way.
They can be
I
rebuilt.
suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now.
Well, I guess I could talk to him.
What is your wish, Kadan? I am hardly surprised.
Do you find Ferelden very
To
strange?
put it lightly, no one has a place here. Your farmers wish to be merchants. The merchants dream of being nobles, and the nobles become warriors. No one is content to be who they are. Very well. Speak, then.
What did you mean about fiends in Sahara?
Ours wear the faces of men.
Do you mean they're abominations?
No, they do not have the excuse of demons within them. Darkspawn, abominations, plagues, and storms. Men are far more dangerous than these. One moment of betrayal can bring more ruin than an earthquake. You know this.
So they're traitors.
They are Tal-Vashoth. They say they are Grey Ones. True in the knowledge of themselves. They are gaping holes where men used to be. Nothing can fill them.
What do they want?
I don't know. There was a village in the mountains of Saharan. Farmers. They grew cinnamon and nutmeg trees in perfectly ordered rows. There would always be one person waiting. A foreman, a harvester, rank didn't matter. Often they would say nothing. Simply watch as we worked to examine the empty house, a new one each time, that had once been the home of a colleague, a friend. We always made a point of searching. Now and then a body would turn up in a river eaten by rain and crows. More often we found nothing. Even in the worst parts of the jungle, the villagers would send someone with us to see the tiniest piece of bone or cloth. Anything contained the possibility of their lost friend. Must we speak of this? We could be fighting something. Very well.
Why do the Tal-Vashoth fight you?
Isn't it the nature of a wound to bleed? I have no more answers than you. Why do we fight the Darkspawn? Why do the Darkspawn fight us?
Don't the Tal-Vashoth give reasons?
Now and then. Do the reasons matter? It makes little difference to those they fight. Tell me then, why do you fight?
Because I have to.
Yes, there is no other reason. The Tal-Vashoth wish us dead, and we wish to go on living. The point of our war is war. Very well.
Maybe the Tal-Vashoth have a point.
Undoubtedly. They've used it to kill countless people.
A lot of what you said about the Qunari is oppressive.
So is death.
I didn't mean to offend you by speaking this.
I have no feelings you can hurt, Warden. Very well. Then I suggest we move on. As you wish.
I'm curious on what our disposition with Sten is. Oh, wow. It's a lot higher than I thought it would be. Ogren's
What
new
is
guy.
your wish, Kadan? Speak, then. Then I suggest we move on. I am hardly surprised. Very well. As you wish.
Okay.
Something
Liliana,
I can help with?
I'd like to talk to you about something.
Yes? What's on your mind?
You have a lot of nerve coming here.
By that alcohol smell, I'm guessing you're drunk.
You're drunk. Take that, you sodding poetess.
Ah, you think I'm Hespeth.
Your disguise can't fool me, woman. That's right. You keep looking at me like that, I'll just go get my pants from that sodding dog.
Oh, he's fine.
I've been watching you. Where can I get some sauce for that rump roast?
Right here, you mad dwarven stallion.
Go and make yourself ready, woman. I'll be right there to see to it.
A man of very few words. Alright, Wynne.
What's on your mind?
Do you have any regrets at all?
I try not to dwell too much on the mistakes of my past, of which there are many. I would go quite mad if I did that. But I do have one regret. The greatest misstep of my life. Made even more grave because it had dire consequences for someone else.
Tell me. I might make you feel better.
Years ago, I was assigned as mentor to a lad, Annerean. He was my first apprentice. Annerean was an elf, raised in one of the elven alienages, and he was very mistrustful of humans, especially humans in authority.
And you took him from his people and put him in the tower.
What Annerean needed was time. Time to get used to his new home. Time to emerge from his shell, so we could build a rapport. I gave him no such time. I was young and arrogant. He is a mage, I thought. He needs to grow up and act like one. I expected too much from him, too quickly. I gave no consideration to his origin or his feelings, and he retreated further from me. All I could think of was how stubborn he was, how he was throwing away all his talent and his potential, just to be difficult.
That just seems so unlike you.
Age and wisdom have mellowed me. I was quite different back then. Much more unforgiving. You cannot plant crops in the cold, wintry ground. You cannot teach a student who is closed off and unresponsive. Patience is what is needed, and I learned that too late to help him.
What happened to Annerean?
Annerean ran away from the circle one night. I had berated him over some trivial, ridiculous matter that I no longer remember. I drove him away because of something utterly unimportant. He was a child, 14 at the time of his leaving. They had his phylactery, and they hunted him down.
Why didn't they just bring him back to the tower?
They called him Maleficar, a mage who practices forbidden magic, deserving of death. He was a child, misunderstood and lost. I begged the Templars to tell me if he suffered, if they gave him a quick death. I got no answers from them. I was his mentor, and they wouldn't even tell me what became of him.
It's not your fault, Wynne.
I should have known better. I had the best mentors. They were kind, compassionate. Why didn't I learn from them? I failed Annerean. All I had to do was listen to him. He would try to talk to me, and I would tell him to concentrate on his spells. He talked about the alienage sometimes, and the Dalish. He always talked about looking for the Dalish Elves.
Maybe he did find the
The
Dalish.
Templars are well trained and thorough. That he still lives, it would be a vain hope. The apprentices that came after Annerean benefited greatly from the lessons I learned from him. In a sense, he was my teacher, and I his student.
See, there is a bright
And
side.
there it is. My story, my one greatest regret.
You call? Can I respond in poetry? No? How sad.
So, excuse me. So, tell me more about your adventures.
I wouldn't have spoken about it before, but you have been a good friend. There is no reason for me not to speak of it now. There is a reason I accepted this mission in Ferelden, far away from home, and it had nothing to do with any thought that I might leave the Crows. Meeting you, after all, was quite an accident. My last mission before this one did not end well.
What happened?
You must realize that until that day I was cocky and arrogant. I was the best crow in Antiva, I believed, and I bragged of my conquests often, both as an assassin and lover.
You were more cocky and arrogant?
Indeed. I was often told I was insufferable, right before I ended up in bed with someone. Such is how it was. One of the Crow Masters grew tired of my boasting. My bid for an incredibly difficult mark was accepted, much to my surprise. A wealthy merchant with many guards and completely silent. Taliesin agreed to be part of my team, as well as an elven lass named Rina. She was a marvel. Tough, smooth, wicked. Eyes that gleamed like justice. Everything I thought I desired.
And you fell in love?
Rina was special. I had closed off my heart, I thought. But she touched something within me. It frightened me. When Taliesin revealed to me that Rina had accepted a bribe from the merchant, told him of our plan, I readily agreed that she needed to pay the price and allowed Taliesin to kill her. Rina begged me not to. On her knees, with tears in her eyes, she told me that she loved me and had not betrayed us. I laughed in her face and said that even if it were true, I didn't care.
But that wasn't true.
I convinced myself it was. Taliesin cut her throat, and I watched her bleed as she stared up at me. I spat on her for betraying the Crows. When Taliesin and I finally assassinated the merchant, we found the true source of his information. Rina had not betrayed us, after all.
I'm so sorry.
I wanted to tell the Crows what we had done, our mistake. Taliesin convinced me not to. He said it would be a foolish waste. So we reported that Rina had died in the attempt. We needn't have bothered. The Crows knew what we had done. The master who disliked me told me so to my face. He said the Crows knew, and they didn't care. And one day, my turn would come.
Why would he do that?
A rabbit in my face, perhaps. But I was nothing. But she was nothing. You once asked why I wanted to leave the Crows. In truth, what I wanted was to die. What better way than to throw myself at one of the fabled Grey Wardens? And then, this happened, and here I am.
Do you still want to die?
No. What I want is to begin again. Whatever it is I sought by leaving Antiva, I think I have found it. I owe you a great deal.
I'm glad to have you with me.
Let us return to your mission, shall we? Suddenly, I do not feel like standing about. You call? Again? I'm game. You call? Can I respond in poetry? No? How sad.
Alright, so I guess we got all of his banter. Don't suppose Morgan has anything.
I await your command. So, full of questions, are you?
I doubt this is gonna work.
Possibly, if I had the desire to. I do not.
And why not?
I was told to accompany you and to help you, and that I shall. This may extend to the teaching of my mother's skills in time. For now, I simply do not know you well enough. I promise nothing.
Which I find hilarious considering we're almost maxing. It's a glitch, essentially. I know Shape Changer because I got it my first playthrough of this game, and when you try to do that option with any other playthrough, it just doesn't work.
I'm listening.
I have some questions.
It doesn't have better things to do.
So, you're female. I had no idea.
I did not think it needed to be said. It has never told me what gender it is, has it?
I am female.
Good for it. I am sure that to other creatures as soft and weak as itself, that would be perfectly obvious. The truth is that whatever gender I was is irrelevant now. I am a golem. I have no gender. It will not become an issue.
No, not at all.
Good. Let us leave it at that. Now, let us crush something soft and watch it fountain blood. That is a girlish thing to want to do, yes?
I love Shell's banter.
I am listening. It doesn't have better things to do.
How did Wilhelm come to acquire you?
That part I know, as Wilhelm often bragged about it to whomever was willing to listen to him. He claimed to have found me in the deep roads. I was in the ruins of a Tig, he said, deactivated, with my control rod not far away.
So, if he hadn't found you...
I wouldn't have had to put up with the twit, and I would be none the wiser. I don't think I was aware while I was there. Not like in the village. Or perhaps I was. Perhaps that was the dark place, and I simply couldn't see anything. How long could even I sit in the darkness and stare out at nothing, never sleeping? Oh, I do not wish to think of that.
Do you know where in the deep roads it was? Or this was?
No, that secretive bastard refused to tell me. I would ask and ask, but no. He used to say that one day, if I were compliant and didn't talk back at his wife, he would take me there and I could look around myself. Rotten, lying bastard. If I had his head in my hands now, I would squeeze it like a giant lemon. Squish.
What was Wilhelm doing in the deep roads?
It was a hobby of his, scavenging. One of the reasons he traveled so much is that he was looking for entrances into the deep roads, old places the dwarves had long forgotten. And then he would sneak down and search for magical treasure, before anyone was the wiser.
Wouldn't that have been dangerous?
Indeed. He had spells that allowed him to remain hidden and move quickly, but he had no defense against the blight and worried constantly that he would get sick. If any darkspawn showed themselves, he fled. More often, he would have to fight other scavengers, dwarves who had become tainted. In the end, it killed him. I mean, he found me there, right?
But you don't know why you were
I
there?
think I remember a battle. It was long before, and then there was darkness. Bah, in short, no, I do not remember why I was there. It makes no difference. On then. I am listening. It doesn't have better things to do.
You watched that village day and night, for years.
I do not sleep, so yes, and I thank it for reminding me. Try to imagine, if it will, what it would be like to be surrounded by nothing but boring peasants, all oblivious to it.
Sounds like you were a bit of a voyeur.
Oh, yes. It certainly was the height of intrigue to listen to the accounts of how young Dornan had scandalized the village by his purchase of an Orlesian hat. And the argument that those two muddy farmers had over the price of barley for a whole summer, riveting. And then there were the birds. A whole village full of pigeons and ravens and sparrows all perching on me day in and day out.
Sounds a little messy.
Those foolish villagers would spread birdseed near me, drawing the birds, because they thought having birds perch on me was quaint. Quaint! If there hadn't been the occasional kind soul to scour me clean, I don't care to discuss this anymore.
Oh, what?
I am listening. It doesn't have better things to do.
You don't seem to like humans much.
That is true. I do not. I'm not interested in getting into a discussion on the subject, however. Ask another time. If it is done asking overly obvious questions, let us find some humans to throw off a cliff or something. I am listening. It doesn't have better things to do. On then.
Well, I kind of screwed the pooch on that one, but I can just give her some shiny things. Do I have any gifts?
My ancestors, this is a wonderful gift.
I guess we can do this.
That smell. This is uneven leather, isn't it? I would know that anywhere. I don't know how you found it, but thank you.
What are you waiting for? Try them on.
But I'm not finished admiring them yet. Can you smell that? Like rotting flesh. Just like back in Antiva City. Now, if only you could find me a prostitute or two. A bowl of fish chowder and a corrupt politician. I'd really feel like I was home. And the feet as well. Marvelous.
Oh, trust me, if you go to Annerean, you can find all that. But, my friend... Fortunately, you're not going to be wearing that.
Are you sure I can't interest you in this hat? A pair of earrings, perhaps? A cheese knife?
Let me just see your wares.
I'm sure you'll...
Because I'm selling you all of the stuff I don't really need. Alright, I think what we're going to do next... Trying to find your way through the earth, are we? Alright, have fun then.